Hello everyone, this is third session for Unix and today we will start with WC command which stands for word count. So let's say you want to know how many lines, how many words and how many characters are there in your file, then you will have to use WC command. For its demonstration, I will not use git bash because git bash is not giving me the actual result. It is giving me a line number. It is subtracting one line and then it is giving me the count of line number. So in order to demonstrate it, I will show it into one of my virtual environments which I am using. So let's say currently I'm in this path and I have one file in this path. Let me just show you test.txt. If I will show you the content of this file, you can see I have 10 lines inside this file. This is my first line, this is second, this is third, and this is the 10th line. So if I will run wc minus l word count and then I only want to show that how many lines do I have, then this will be the command for that. And see, it is showing me that I am having 10 lines and this is my file name. But if you want to see how many words and how many characters are also there, then you can just directly run wc command and it will give you all the three things, like there are 10 lines, then there are 10 words, and then there are 29 characters. Let me just do one thing. Let me quickly modify this file and add one new line. Let's say I will call it new line only, and let me append it into this particular file, and let's again run the same command wc minus l, not minus l, wc test.txt. Now see, it is saying that it is having 11 line, 12 words, because now I have kept two words, one in new, two new words, one in new and another in line. Earlier the count was 10, so it got increased to 12, right? Similarly, the character count also got increased. So this is the way you work for WC command. Now we have grep command. Okay, so if whenever you want to find out any particular string inside your text file, then you use this grep command. Okay, so the equivalent of it in Unix, sorry, in Windows is like if I am in Notepad, I will press Control F and I will get this dialog box for finding a particular string. But let's see how we do it in Unix. Okay, so I have this file query.sql. Just a minute. So this is the file I have, right? Query.sql. I'll be using the same file to demonstrate the use of grep command. Let me just give me a 1 minute and let me quickly change the name of the file. Okay, we have changed the name of the file, and let's say I am only interested seeing those lines which contain this word, which is nothing but select. Okay, so I'll just run this query. I'll go to my git bash and I will cross check if I have this file or not. Let first cross check. Okay, I do not have this file. Just give me a minute. Let me check. SQL underscore query we have .txt. Okay, I think I think I just changed the extension of this file. That's why I'm not able to see it. Let me quickly change the extension so that we can continue with our demonstration. This is txt. Okay, I'm replacing .sql with .txt. Replace all. Okay, now this command will work fine. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to grab, or I'm trying to find out those lines which contains this word in this file. Let me run this command. Let me decrease the font. Okay, so now you can see that all those lines which were having select keyword, those got printed out. Okay, now let's say I have one of the line inside my file where this S is a capital letter. Okay, just see this 205th line. Here the S is in capital letter. So if you know that Unix is case sensitive, so in case if I am running this command and I am keeping it like small s, then this line will not get printed as part of the result. Now let me do one thing. Let me make it in a capital case and see if that line is getting printed or not. See, only that line got printed where I have kept my select in capital letter. So there were two lines where the select statement was in capital letter, having capital letter as S. Okay. So, okay, then another use case of grep command. Let's go back. Okay. So let's say I want to print both the statements, whether the S is in capital letter or in small letter. I want to make it insensitive, right? So what we have to do is we just have to pass this switch and it will make it insensitive. Now, both the statements, whether the S is in capital letter or in small letter, both of them will get printed out. See, select here, S here is in capital letter and again here it is in capital letter. Okay. Now, let's say I want to do reverse of it. Whatever we have done as of now, I want to reverse it. So in order to reverse the condition, you will have to use -v switch. So what it will do, it will print all of those lines in SQL query.txt file where we do not have this keyword, which is select. Let me run this command. See, all of those lines got printed where we do not have select with small s, right? This is having a select with capital S. So please be careful about it. Don't get confused. If you want to remove it also, then let's make it insensitive again, -v -i. See, now that select statement also did not get printed, which was in capital S. So these are the use cases for grep command. Okay. So now let's go back to one of the topic, which is piping the output. Okay. So if you guys know this particular key is, we call it as a pipe key. Okay. So whenever you want to send the output of one command to another command, then we have to use this pipe key. Okay. So before that, just let me tell you one thing. Whenever I'm running this grep command, let me break it into smaller commands. Whenever we are running this grep command, then the output is the output is coming into my standard output device, which is my laptop screen. So let me run it. See, the output is it is showing me the output in my laptop screen, but I don't want it to show it in my laptop screen. I want this output as an input to another command. Okay, don't get it confused with redirection operator. We are not redirecting it. When we only use this redirection word when we are storing our output somewhere else. Okay, here we are not storing our output. It's just that we are giving our output as an input to another command. Now let's see. So let's see what this command will do. Let's go one by one. So I'm interested only on those lines where we have select keyword in my file. And after that, I only want those lines where I have select and f name in the line. Okay. So what I'll do, first of all, I will filter out all those lines which are having select. Once I have that select line, then we will filter out if those lines are having f name also or not. Let me run this command and see. Now only those lines got printed which is having select keyword and f name keyword, right? If you can check, you can cross check it once again. Now let's say I again want to redirect the output to another command. This time I want that I should have select, I should have f name, and even I should have l name also in my line. Then only it should get printed out. Let me run this command. And now you can see only those lines got printed where we have all these three keywords or all these three words inside it. Okay. So this is very powerful command. You just have to practice it. Okay. Now let's go back to our file. Okay, reverse code. So this is one of the example of reverse code. I have explained you one of the use case of reverse code in session 2, I think, where we had to do some kind of calculation. Like we wanted to increase our counter, then we were using this reverse code. Now another use case of this reverse code is, let me go down. Okay, so if you want let's say you want to use echo statement, and inside that echo statement you want to use one of the Unix command, then you will have to surround your Unix command with reverse code. Otherwise your command will not work. Okay, so first let me run this command without reverse code. Okay, let's say I wanted to print out a message that you are inside directory, and then I will run pwd command. As you know that pwd command will give me present working directory. Okay, so I'm supposed to have an output like this. You are inside directory, C drive, user, Sanjay Bidwal, desktop, session, something like that. Let me run this query first and check what will be the output. Okay, so it printed pwd as it is. Okay, it is not considering it as a command. If we want Unix to understand it as a command, that boss, this is a command, not a word, you have to execute it and you have to print the output. Then we will have to surround it with reverse code. Now let me run this command and check the output. See, now this command got executed and now I'm getting a proper message that on which directory I'm currently in. Okay. So this is one of, again, one of the most important command you should know while doing it, because it will be very helpful while doing a shell scripting. Okay. Another command is cut command. Okay. So in order to show you the example of cut command, I have created one file as s.txt. Let's see the content of this file first. Okay, this file contains the different lines. The first one is header, and header means the column names, and then we have the value of corresponding columns. We have these many records, and if you can see, the delimiter is pipe here. Delimiter is nothing but it is separating the value of other columns. So this is the meaning of delimiter. And let's run cut command. What is cut command? Let's say I want to print out only some specific column. Then how to do that? We have a command, cut command, for that. Okay, let me explain you what is this. Okay, so you have to write first cut command. Then you have to give your delimiter, that which delimiter you are using inside your file. For that we have a switch -t. Then you give your delimiter. Then you will have to mention that which field you want to display. Let's say I only want to display first column or first field. Then I will use -f. -f stands for field. -d is for delimiter. So I will say, okay, I only want first field to be printed out. Then I'll have to give my file name. This is my file name. Let's run it and see the output. See, now this first column got printed out. Now let's say I want to print first field, second field, and third field. So I can write it like this. Okay, let me run it. Okay, so see, first, second, and third column got printed out. Let's say I want to print now third comma 5. I'm not giving 4 over here, and let's see if it will get printed or not. So after name, gender got printed. Let's check what we had after name. After name we had s class, so it did not get printed because I have not mentioned fourth column. I had mentioned fifth column. That's why gender got printed. Now there is another way of doing this command also, where we have column name in sequence. We can directly give a range. Let me copy this command first. Okay, if we are not skipping any place and we can directly give any range, then we can give the range like this. So what this is denoting, I want all the field from 1 to 3. Let's run this command. See, now all the columns from 1 to 3rd got printed out. Let's go back. Okay, so if you want to sort your output, right? So if you want to sort your output, then you can use this command. Again, I'm running the same command. This time I am printing out a second field, and I want to sort it according to this second field. Okay, what is my second field? Second field is my first name. So whatever will come alphabetically first, it will get printed out. Let me run this command. See, here I am using this redirection operator. Don't get it confused with this pipe symbol, because here the pipe symbol is denoting a delimiter, while here the pipe symbol is denoting that what I am trying to do is I am trying to send the output of this command as an input to this command. Okay, let me run this command. Okay, so my first name got sorted out. You can see that Ankit got printed first and Sanjay got printed at the end. Let's see. Okay, let's say if you want to reverse your output, then you just have to use -r switch and you're good to go. Okay, see now the output got reversed. Let's go back. A special variable. Okay, there are various special variable, but the only one which I want to show you right now is $? You will frequently use it while doing working on a shell scripting. So what is this $? This $? Contains the execution status of last command which you have executed. It will be 0 if the last command got executed successfully, or else if it will be 1 or not equal to 0 or greater than 0 if it got if it not got successfully executed, or if it was an unsuccessful operation. Okay, so let me do one thing. Okay, let me check it first. What is the value of this $? So you can see I have ran this command at the this command was the very recent command and it got executed successfully. So I should receive 0 for this $? Let's run it. See, I got 0 for this. Okay, this is very important in shell scripting, so you should be aware about it. Let's say now I want to run one command which will fail. I don't have any file name with f8.txt. I'm just trying to copy it like ty.txt. It will definitely fail because I don't have any such file existing in my system. So let's see if it got failed. Yeah, it got failed. Now just check what is the status of your last executed command. See, it is 1 now. That means our last executed command got failed. So please remember it. It is very important concept. Okay, so this is the last concept for this session, chmod. So for this, I will be using my virtual environment again. But before that, let me explain it in the notepad itself. So usually if you see, just a minute, guys, I'll show you here only. Okay. So usually when you long list one file, if you want to see the long list of one file, then you will see that there are some permissions, and these permissions are divided into 9 blocks. Read, write. If you can see for this test.txt, the permissions are read, write, execute. Let me copy it, guys. Let me copy all of these lines and copy. And let me paste it over here. So you can see that it is divided into 9 blocks: RWX, R minus X, and then R dash dash. Okay. So how do we work in chmod is, if you see, we have 3 types of permissions: read permissions, which is denoted by R, then W is denoted for write permission, X is denoted for execution permission. So we have weightage for all these permissions. So for read permission, the weightage is 4. For write permission, the weightage is 2. And for execution permission, the weightage is 1. Okay. So generally the first 3 character denotes the permission of owner. Then the next 3 character denotes the permission of a group to which owner belongs to. And the next 3 contain the permission of other member who are not member of any group of where the owner is also a member of it. So these are the permission for other people. Okay. Now let's say how to change the permission of one of the file. Let's say I want to change this permission from this to this. I want to I want to remove write permission for owner, and I want to give uh, only execution permission for the group members, and for others I want to keep again just write permission. I'm just keeping it randomly, so don't get confused. So this permission I want right now. Okay, how to give this permission? Let's check. Okay, so let's give the weightage one by one first. So the weightage should be this should be 0, right? I don't want to give any read permission, so it will be 0. Then for I want to give. So for the weightage of R is sorry, I got confused, guys. Just a minute. It should not be like this. It should be read permission I want, and I don't want to give, let's for example, I don't want to give write permission for owner. Let's start once again. So for R, the weightage will be 4, and I don't want to give any write permission. So write permission will be 0 in that case. I want to give execution permission. So that means the weightage of execution is what? 1. Okay. Now again, for group, what permission we want? We don't want to give any read permission. That means it will be 0. Then again, we do not want to give any write permission. Then again, it will be 0. We only want to give execution permission. Then the weightage of execution permission is what? 1. Okay. So whenever you do not want to give any permission, the weightage will by default become 0. Otherwise, the weightage are 4 for read, 2 for write, 1 for execution. Now come back to others. So I do not want to give any read permission. Again, it will become 0. Then I want to give write permission. It will become 2. Then I don't want to give any execution permission. Then it will again become 0. Now let's add up all these digits. And if I will add 4 plus 0 plus 1, it will become 5. Then 0 plus 0 plus 1, it will become 1. Then 0 plus 2 plus 0, it will become 2. Okay, that means this permission I have to give. Then the permission will become 512. And which file we want to give permission? We want to give permission to test.txt. So chmod stands for change mode. We want to change the mode of this file. Earlier the permission was this. Let me show you the count of this, the integer count of this this permission also. So the integer count will be, let me remove this minus sign in order to avoid any confusion. So the earlier the permission was like, it was having read permission. That means it was the weightage was 4. Having write permission, weightage was 2. Having execution permission also, weightage was 1. Okay. Then again, it was having read permission. The group was having read permission, then it is 4. It was not having any write permission, 0. It was having execution permission, 1. Okay. So the other members were having read permission, right? So this is read permission. So that means the weightage was 4. No write permission, 0. No execution permission, 0. So that means earlier the permissions were 7. 4 plus 2 plus 1, 7. 4 plus 0 plus 1, 5. And 4 plus 0 plus 0 equal to 4. So earlier the permission was 754. Now I want to change it to 512. Let's see and let's cross check. Just a minute, guys. Okay, let's check if it got changed or not. It got changed. Let me copy it and paste it here. Just a minute, guys. It did not get copied. I have to do right click. I will remove this minus sign because it does not denote permission. This is showing you that it is a file and not a directory. See, now our permission are perfectly matching. R dash X, then dash dash X, then dash W, and then dash. So this is the way you can give permission to your files.